My name is Detlef Henkel. I really from Frankfurt now. Had a 3.5-hour journey into Utrecht, and I think what I like to do today is really have also a little journey with you on some of the macro trends in cash management and how that impact either ourselves or our clients. And as you can imagine, and if you are reading papers and you see what's happening, there are so many trends currently. Either they're driven by the regulation, or they are driven by our clients themselves, but primarily they're driven by technology and other players in the market. And so that are the 4 areas I want to have some more talk about. The role of the treasurer, how he is impacting us, and we will see. We see technology as a driver, disintermediation of banks by FinTechs, and regulation. And then at the end, some closing thoughts as takeaways. So, as always, you put yourselves in the middle of a slide. But in this scenario, what I did here is we are not in an own ecosystem, so we are part of a huge community and being impacted by a lot of areas, and primarily our customers, of course, by the regulators who set the frameworks. Our shareholders expect respective returns on their equities. And then we have competition. Now, we always had competition, and in every business you have competition, but I think there's a new kind of competition coming up that is impacting, at least from a transaction banking or from a banking perspective, us very much. And the question is how we as an organization cope with that, or as an industry cope with that. And and in terms of trends and numbers, so bankers are always number driven. Yeah. When you're reading the last World Payments report, the most compelling number that I've seen over there is the 800 billion. Yeah. So 800 billion transactions of non-cash payments are expected to be handled in 2024. Yeah, today it's around about 400. So we're doubling the volume over the next 8 to 9 years, and this is primarily driven by the e-commerce, the online space, and cards business. Yeah, these are the primary drivers who accelerate and outpace the traditional payments business. Yeah, and I think we here all in the room want to be part of that journey to the 800 billion, but we have to consider some other or some interesting things. And what I like to start with is with the customer, or with the buying persona, so to say. Yeah, because normally a client that looks for services we are talking to sits in the treasury area. It could also sometimes be the procurement area, or supply chain managers, depending on the type of solution or scenario we talk about. So this is the traditional journey that a treasury department is walking through the life cycle. Yeah? So it all started some time ago, I think already in the 90s, with a subsidiary business. You were very decentralized, and you tried to manage your decentralized setup efficiently. Yeah? And because efficiency, cost reduction, control management, and working capital management are the key drivers for managing a treasury department. Yeah? And over time, you could see that the evolvement and the journey that a treasury department took, yeah, centralization of liquidity. Yeah? So the typical cash pooling solutions that were introduced in the late 90s, then it started to not only to be domestic, but then also on a cross-border basis, cross-currency poolings, netting was introduced. Yeah, so that then we have regional centers, shared service centers, and then as a next evolutionary phase, the payment factories. Yeah, so if you are running or in a multi-country environment, and or even global, you start thinking of how how to optimize your environment as best, yeah, by avoiding risk, optimizing liquidity flows, and be efficient in terms of cost, yeah. And I think we as a financial services industry walked together with our clients, yeah. So we started to anticipate what is the next level, what is probably being requested by our clients. And so the pooling netting, the central booking hub solutions in order to support payment factories, yeah. And now we're coming to the next evolutionary phase, which is the on behalf of kind of business, where the shared service centers of our clients, the treasury centers, are now not only looking to submit payments and collections for their own business, but also on behalf of their subsidiaries, and that across multiple jurisdictions. Yeah, that is sometimes a bit tricky, dependent on in which location your subsidiaries are. Yeah, and requires some good tax advice. So it's not a one-size-fits-it-all solution. It really requires some due diligence. But I think that's definitely an area where currently the front runners and the first movers are in, and others are watching already to move into that space. And that the demand in that space is also towards more, and if you look into the European business, virtual IBANs, virtual account solutions, yeah, in order to facilitate, to mirror the setup of a corporation, a larger corporation, in a much smoother way, avoiding opening and maintaining physical accounts across multiple banks in multiple countries, yeah, and SEPA as an environment, as a payments environment, and the legal framework in Europe allow for a lot of efficiency gains for our clients. So we, as a financial services partner, we are supporting them, and look, of course, we try to match that. So in this, I would say, in this area, we were typical product sales manager. Yeah, so we had a product, payment product, a netting product, a pooling product. Yeah, and we then moved as soon as our client went cross country. We moved also into a kind of a solution provider. Yeah, so we packaged different products into solutions, and now we are more and more going into the advisory space. Yeah, so we see ourselves more as a partner for our clients and look, okay, what's going on in the market and how can we support you achieving your objectives. So to understand that treasurers are important for us, I think, especially after the 2008 credit crisis, it became very eminent and important to see that the C-level at the corporations consider, wow, banks, now they have an issue, yeah? How is my position towards banks, yeah? It's not the other way around, that we as banks validate the credibility of our clients. We still do, yeah? But it's also the other way around, yeah? So what is my portfolio of banks, yeah? Is it, how many eggs do I have in basket A, in basket B, and C? Yeah, so the importance of treasurers within the own organization increased. Yeah, and also if you come back, look at the evolutionary chain, the evolutionary graph, the bargaining power of the treasurers increased very much. Yeah, because they're now managing not only one or two legal entities, but maybe 10, 15, 20. Yeah, so the volume that they're dealing with is much higher, allowing them to to approach their partners in a different manner. Yeah, so I think treasury is well growing in importance. The centralizing of a treasury and the oversight of control, yeah, reduction of control, increasing of efficiencies and costs, I think are still the main objectives. Another area that is helping not only treasurers but also I think the whole audience here and us in our journey is technology. Yeah, So we see a lot of drivers. I listed them down here. I don't think we have time for all and everything here, but there's a couple of buzzwords, yeah, like blockchain, yeah, which is a new kind of technology allowing to combine security and speed of transaction business. Yeah, so I've seen personally in Germany with a couple of kind of startups solutions already that look at point of sales or even internet solutions that combine near-field technology and QR code technology with an end-to-end payment flow on a real-time basis. Yeah, so there is a lot of potential that is in that, and especially in the client acceptance area, yeah, payment acceptance area that I see coming up. Yeah, digitalization is a buzzword kind of. Yeah, we all people are talking about digitalization so far. I think in banks we definitely need to have. We have a lot of legacy infrastructure. We don't basically driven by silo-based developments over the last 30, 40 years. However, I think it's for us it's a good momentum currently to do the right investments. Yeah, because if we don't digitize our workflows and processes, we have issues of keeping pace with either the competition or with other providers that more and more dig into our cakes. Yeah, and so they're eating our lunch already. Yeah, and what I'm talking, of course, is about the FinTech companies, and which I try to split up into two areas. Yeah, one who are already competing directly in product areas that we as a traditional bank are doing today. Yeah, and look, Buckaroo, well, so no, and I think it's not just only competing. It's also, I think, and that is for me the takeaway when talking to a lot of these companies. You see that they're not exclusively running and eating our lunch. I think we do this jointly, yeah, and that's also why we are we're invited here as a partner and not as a competitor, yeah. And so the payments in the lending space, cards as well, or FX, yeah, more and more startups and companies with very smart solutions are coming up. And in the past, we also had great ideas. Yeah, also in the 90s, we had great ideas that we talked to people who were brilliant. Yeah, issue capital. Yeah, and the best ideas couldn't be converted into real business models because there was no appetite from people to invest into this, and that changed in the last couple of years dramatically. Yeah, so if you see that between 13 and 14. The investment capital is four times higher, $12 billion. Yeah, so it's a huge number, and that gives now these companies really the long breath that they need in order to convert good ideas into business models and bring them to market and to achieve the critical mass. Yeah, that's always a problem. Achieving the critical mass to sustain and to survive. The second category is an area where I think the collaboration area, I think, is emerging, I would say. Yeah, if you look into e-invoicing supply chain management, yeah, banks also provide financial supply chain solutions, yeah, helping suppliers in the financing needs, yeah. But there's also another angle to that, yeah, because this is driven by e-invoicing companies like Basware, Ariba, etc., yeah, who are already in a modern fashion way interacting between the buyer and the supplier, yeah, and the only missing link now is the payment or the financing part, yeah, and they're starting. If you look at into these companies, you see that they already have started to build a new company branch who deals with financing solutions for the suppliers. But I think they're coming then to the banks like us and ask, okay, can you help us in that? Yeah? And if you then start to add the strength of a company like that with the strength of a liquidity provider like us, then this can be a very compelling partnership, yeah? And I think that is something I see going forward as a huge opportunity for all of us, yeah, to much closer align ourselves in our business objectives, partner up for specific demand from a client side, and bring solutions to the market, and which is a win-win situation for everybody. Yeah? So this is just one example. Here are more. The other area I don't want to forget is regulation. Yeah, I think everybody, especially licensed institutions like us and banks in particular, have to deal with tons of regulations. Yeah, and they are increasing and were increasing and still increasing. And cost of to be compliant is huge. Yeah, but if you want to stay in the business, you have to. Yeah, no chances. However, I see also every regulation also has an opportunity. Yeah? So, for instance, if you look into SEPA, look into China renminbi liberalization. Yeah. So the renminbi, as an example, evolved from a currency importance of 28, 29 into the fourth largest one over last year. Yeah, 2.8% already their market share. So. And it's growing, yeah. And you see initiatives from the local regulation in a lot of countries to push their own economy to bring down hurdles and allow more competition. Yeah, and that was also one of the drivers in the SEPA space. Yeah. So coming to, because the clock was telling me it's only, I think, 1.5 minutes now left. Some takeaways. Yeah. The what, the who, the when, the how, and the why. Yeah? So we need to understand really what our clients need and what are the future things I have to anticipate from a macro trend perspective. Yeah, who I'm dealing with, who is my buying persona, what is he needing. When fintechs are expanding, yeah, into the corporate world, currently they're more touching on the user experience space on the consumer area. However, you see every treasurer, every human being is a consumer, of course, and expect that to happen in his corporate or business environment as well. So then the question is, what we as a traditional provider what is our role in that whole value chain? What is a commodity? What will be becoming a commodity, and what is something we can add as added value and have a margin on? Yeah. Then, of course, the impact of regulation also on your business. For me, it's not a question if, but when more and more business industry areas will be regulated. And then the why question, yeah, is my business idea, my business model compelling enough to sustain and to be ready for the future? Thank you.